Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Premier Christy Clark.
Thank you very much. It is such an honor to be with you tonight. I've been told to keep, Jim Shepherd said, to keep the jokes to a minimum, but I didn't realize that Peter Mansbridge was going to be emceeing tonight. I do have some good CBC jokes, but I'll save those. None of them involve you, Peter, of course. I'd like to thank all of you for being here tonight and supporting what is a really important event. And I want to talk about three aspects of that. The first one is, of course, the role that individual, really ordinary people have in creating success, the role of good luck in creating success, the role that mentors play in supporting young people in being a success, and of course the role that junior achievement plays as well. But first, I would like to make sure that I acknowledge some of the colleagues and team members who are here with me today. We won a difficult election in 2013, partly because we had so many people who were prepared to take on what looked like was going to be a really difficult fight. And some of them are here tonight. I'd like to acknowledge each of them. We have grown international trade very significantly. We are the most diversified economy in Canada, and we have the most diversified markets in Canada. That has protected us from some of the downturns that you've seen in other provinces like Ontario and Alberta, and it has been the product of very purposeful work. Our minister who leads that for us is the only Minister of International Trade in North America who speaks English, Cantonese, and Mandarin. Teresa Watt from Richmond is with us. And of course, sitting beside her is our minister responsible for much more than just liquor deregulation and happy hour, although that may be how you know her. She's done so much to support in a very difficult file with so many diverse interests to try and make sure she is standing up for consumers first and foremost, that she's clearing away archaic regulation that gets in the way of growth in our tourist economy, which is so important for British Columbia. And of course, at the same time, she's ensuring that our justice system is doing what it needs to do. Suzanne Anton from Vancouver Fraser View is with us. Our government received the only A in the country for cutting red tape, and we're very, very proud of that, and we're going to continue to do that because we know that it isn't just taxes and a AAA credit rating and all of those other things that keep investment where it needs to be in British Columbia. We need to make sure that government isn't tying people down with red tape, and that's an important part of making sure that we can celebrate laureates in British Columbia, that they're not living somewhere else by the time we have these parties. That is the job, of course, of Naomi Yamamoto, who's our Secretary of State for Small Business and Tourism. And we call her the general because she's in charge of just about everything. She heads up our jobs plan. She has created the only, I think, in Canada's history, purposeful plan to make sure that we are producing graduates from our secondary and post-secondary education system to meet the needs of the economy, of the new economy, not just in trades, but also in technology. It's been a huge task that she's undertaken, including the many other jobs that she has, including immigration. Of course, you all know her as the Minister of Jobs. Minister Shirley Bond is with us tonight. The purpose of tonight is to honor people who have done great things for British Columbia. I know that. But I think if you asked Barbara or Jim, they would tell you that the reason that they want to bring us all together is really because they want to celebrate examples, want to celebrate mentors, people whom we can all look to and say, I want to be like that. I want to create something like that. And in British Columbia, we should aspire above all things to be one place in the world where we celebrate success. Because there are so many people out there who would like to tear it down. People who don't succeed. People who don't want others to succeed. But I believe that every part of every city, every province, every country in the world that is the most successful are places where we celebrate success. And so tonight, that is what we're doing, is celebrating those examples of success that will be a way of telling young people, showing young people in real life what can happen, and remind them how they can get there. Because another thing that I've observed from this position over the last many years has been that people who accomplish great things are not always great people. And I don't mean not kind people and compassionate people. I mean they're ordinary people. Average, ordinary, regular people who come from middle-class homes or who come from all different backgrounds. And every person I have met, and many of the laureates who are here tonight, who I've spoken to about how they got there, none of them think they are special. Every single one of them recognizes how ordinary they were, and therefore, how anyone has a similar chance to take on what they did. Now, I'm also a believer that we are lucky. We live in Canada. We are lucky to live here. The rule of law, safe streets, a civil society, some of the things that our Lieutenant Governor talked about, a wealthy society with a great education system where everybody has a chance to succeed. That's a pretty good start. So if you're born in Canada, you're already lucky. Now, it's certainly true that different people in the world and in our country, in our province, have different amounts of luck, given the circumstances they're born into. But what differentiates the laureates and the examples that we hold up tonight is their ability to spot that luck, pull it out of the air around them, and turn it into something. Through tenacity, through hard work, through persistence, through a deep sense of self-belief and confidence, through a willingness to fight for what they believe in and what they know they can do, despite the fact that people all around them may be telling them they have no chance of success. That is what differentiates the men and women who are honored as business laureates from those of us who aren't. And again, a story of ordinary, regular people who took the good luck that we all have and turned it into something. That's why they're important examples to set. That's why it's so important that we talk about that. Because in a country that depends on small business and medium-sized business and large business, for our wealth, we should always be asking ourselves where that comes from. Because it comes from a thriving private sector. And a thriving private sector comes from people who have ideas and are willing to work hard and turn all that hard work and good luck and tenacity into something big. That is where our country begins and ends. And so tonight, the laureates that we honor are going to be people who have done more than their share of that, building that thriving private sector that we all depend on, and that, by the way, helps us create and sustain the civil, healthy, wealthy society that we are so blessed to enjoy. So last, let me say this, because I think, and I know many of you in this room, probably every one of you that I know has said to me at some point, if there is one thing you could do, it would be to teach more business education in schools. Why can't you go out there and make sure that kids, when they graduate, understand compound interest, know the risks of getting a mortgage, understand what kind of a mortgage to get, just to begin? Because you know that when we explain to kids what the risks are, and they can understand them, they will be more willing to take them. They will be willing to do what you did, to go out, take risks, be prepared to fail, and know that failure is not the last thing you'll do. Because I bet every single business laureate that has been honored over the last decade would tell you many stories of failure as well as many stories of success. And so tonight, in the examples that we show and hold up and celebrate, there will be stories of success and there will be stories of failure. There will be a lot of people who say we should do more to educate young people. And that's what we are also doing tonight, is honoring junior achievement, because that's what they do. And so tonight, I was pleased to be able to make sure that Junior Achievement knew we found $1 million in our difficult budget year to support the work that Junior Achievement does in going into schools and making sure that young people have the education that they need and you deserve. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for what you're doing tonight and being a part of this. It is so important for the future of our province. We live and die in British Columbia by the fact that there are men and women who are prepared to risk everything on a dream. That's what built Canada. And you don't have to be special to be willing to do that. You just have to have the guts, the tenacity, the persistence. You don't have to be born rich. You don't even have to be born in Canada. But you have to have the will to succeed. And so tonight we celebrate those men and women who've proven to us what it can be when you decide you believe in yourself. And that is what built British Columbia, and that is what's going to keep our future strong. Thank you.
You have jokes about the CBC? Really? Next you'll tell me you have jokes about the Maple Leafs.
I do. I do.
Actually, we have a new coach as of today, and he's going to change everything. Because the last 60 coaches have set the groundwork for him to change everything.
You know, I knew that when the Leafs started arresting their fans, that things were really going in the wrong direction.
That's true. But listen, it was a pleasure for me to actually arrive in a city today that actually has a professional hockey team.
Yes,
so
indeed we
I
do.
really appreciate
Indeed
it.
we do.
I'd like to ask Gary Laxon, who is the Director of Private Banking at Scotiabank Private Client Group, to come here and officially thank the Premier.